Sometimes the hardest part of instructional design isn't figuring out how to make better training, it's convincing people to let you. You have training to make, you have the idea for the perfect training game, you know it's going to solve a problem and that people will love it, but the person you're talking to is terrified of change. They keep serving you objections that sound legit, but really are just cover for that. So your idea dies for reasons that have nothing to do with it. And there's nothing sadder than knowing you could have helped this person, you just couldn't get them to let you. I've been watching this play out for 12 plus years and I keep seeing the same mistakes getting made, mistakes that are fixable as long as you make one fundamental shift and you use the 3 tools I'm going to show you in this video. But first we have to talk about the 2 moves that will kill your pitch every single time. Number 1, tell them that your idea will make the training more enjoyable. Say things like fun, engagement. It's not that the stakeholders don't care about that, it's just not their priority. Their priority is fewer accidents, faster service, legal compliance. That's their job, that's what they're motivated by, and that's what they're worried about. So the second you say fun, you stop seeming like an ally who's working on their problem and you become someone whose main concern is enjoyment. You've handed them a reason to think you don't get it. Wrong move number 2 is to lean on research and statistics to make your case. I know, but hear me out. Like I said, the stakeholders worried about their problem, and statistics are often about your solution. Even when a case study is solid, it's usually about other people, different context, different company, and they'll zero in on that. Oh, they were herding cattle, we're herding cats. And now you're defending the study instead of talking about their problem. Yeah, but what if they're the ones asking for studies? Well, that does happen, and when it does, it's usually one of 2 things. Either they're not convinced and it's a delay tactic to make you go away and leave them alone and come back later with something that they can take apart. So you know you haven't made your case yet, and you'll do that with the 3 tools I'll show you later. Or they are convinced, but they're not sure they can convince the next floor up. You need to figure out which situation you're in and react accordingly. But when someone's not convinced, a study's not going to change their mind. A study's going to support the conclusion once they've come to it themselves, and to make that happen, you need one fundamental reframe. Whatever the stakeholder says, it'll cost too much, it's wrong for our learners, we don't have the time, it's usually all coming from the same place. They think you're about to take their serious problem, which needs a serious solution, and turn it into something that's wasteful and ineffective. And most of the time they're right, because most gamification is all about the surface. The rewards, the points, the confetti, the cool effects, the cartoons. That's pretty much the only part we notice when we're looking at games, and when people try to gamify training, that's usually what they take to apply to their training. So most of the time they stay at the surface level, and of course that's what your stakeholder is picturing too. Bells and whistles. But underneath all that, at the very heart of any game is a very powerful teaching engine. Because A, in a game, you're not sitting back watching things, you're doing, you're constantly making decisions, seeing what happens and adjusting. And B, games adjust to your level of mastery, so the challenge is always sitting right at the edge of what you're capable of. Those things together are what turns newbies into experts without them noticing it and creates real-world change. But most people never register that this engine is even there. So the solution you're pitching needs to leverage that engine, not the surface. That's what's going to change behavior, increase skill, and solve the problem. And once you've made that shift from surface experience to actual skill building, watch how fast the common objections fall. Objection number 1, it costs too much. People usually say that because they're picturing graphics, custom animation, and fancy effects. That's the expensive stuff. But the value in good gamification lies in the problem design, not the surface. You don't need the surface to be expensive or look like a game. An activity built around relevant problems will beat a flashy, expensive one every time, yes, in terms of results, but also in terms of how much it engages a learner. Number 2, we don't have time. This can mean 2 things. Number 1, it'll take too long to build. And of course that's true if what you're comparing it to is copy-pasting a wall of text onto slides. Anything effective takes longer than that. But compared to a traditional solution, it doesn't take more time. All you're doing is, instead of giving the learner information, you're presenting it in a way that makes them figure it out so it sticks more. That's it. You're not presenting more, you're presenting differently. The second thing it can mean is it'll take learners longer to get through. And here the truth is actually completely the opposite. A well-gamified system adapts to each learner's mastery, so an advanced learner can just blow through while a beginner gets exactly the scaffolded practice that they need. We're not wasting anyone's time on things they're already doing well, so the training time is much more efficient. Number 3, this isn't right for our topic. That also comes from thinking that gamification is a one-size wrapper that you slap over anything no matter what the topic is. It isn't. Challenge-based training works anywhere there's a before and a desirable after, a gap between where the learners are and where you need them to be. Whatever the topic is, that's what determines the challenges that you're going to throw at them in between. So there are no topics that this doesn't work with. You just have to design the right challenges for your topic. Our learners won't go for it because they're old, they're too serious. I've heard them all. And it's true that there's a disconnect between most audiences and the surface elements of games. But when you're pitching the engine, the audience argument falls apart. Everyone wants to crack a problem that's relevant to them, feel clever doing it, and see themselves getting better at something real. That's not a generational thing, it's a human thing. And finally, if I want to play a game, I'll just fire up the PlayStation. This is the fun misconception in its purest form. You're not building entertainment, you're building competence. The mechanics are there to teach, not to amuse. That said, it will be more engaging for the learner because you're giving them something to do. The results come from the teaching engine, but so does engagement. All right, you've got the shift from surface to active learning, from fun to competence. Now, how do you get the stakeholder to make that shift? Well, you don't do it by sitting them down and explaining all of this. They didn't come here for a lesson about how learning and gamification work. They want the shortest line to the outcome they care about, and this is where everything we've seen so far turns into your 3 most powerful tools to get buy-in. Tool number 1, align on the end goal. This comes first in the conversation because it shifts everything that comes after it. Make it about the problem and you'll get everyone off the pointless debate about games and fun and time and budget, because the real problem is worth solving. The only thing that matters is, what do we need these learners to be actually able to do? Why does that matter to the business? How will things be better as a result? The second you anchor the conversation on results and relevance, the stakeholder is with you. They want you to win because you're focused on the same goal they are. Tool number 2, when you're proposing a solution, be specific. If you only say gamification, you're going to bring up every misconception in their mind before you even finish the sentence. So instead, talk about the actual thing you're building. If it's a simulation, say simulation. If you're going to build procedurally generated scenarios that adapt to each learner, describe that. Do that and they'll respond to your plan instead of the cartoons in their head. And if you've aligned on the goal, then we know that they already want your plan to work. Tool number 3, show a prototype. When they see their own topic being taught this way, then there's no debate about what everyone's imagining because it's right in front of them. And the really baller move is, show their topic being taught the normal content dump passive way right next to your prototype. You don't even have to talk. They'll make the connections themselves and they'll deduce how helpful this will be to them. When they're the ones figuring it out, it's like you're the team from inception. It feels like their idea. I also recommend keeping the prototype very plain, no flashy graphics, so that all that you're left with is how relevant the activity is to their content. Don't distract them from that with bells and whistles. Gamification can sometimes be a hard sell if you let the conversation drift into what they're imagining and then you're playing whack-a-mole with all the preconceptions. But it doesn't have to be when you center it on their problem and how you're going to solve it. Simple as that. And I've seen this happen over and over again. When you have somebody who's really resistant, as soon as they make the shift and they get that aha moment, then they become an outspoken advocate for you. Converts make the best evangelists. And once you land it and you get the goal, then all that's left to do is to deliver. So if you need help turning your content into relevant challenges, my program, the Effective Gamification Framework, might just be what you're looking for. This is where I coach instructional designers step by step on my method to turn content into relevant challenges. The link is below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.